Tailteann Cup results. Any surprises here? London 2-6, Kevin 18 points. That was about standard. No
Yeah,
surprises there.
no surprises. I think the last four are standing out like a sore thumb. I think it's going to be Cavan, Fermanagh, Meath, and Down, unless they meet each other before that.
Yeah.
But that's going to be the last.
Laois Offaly?
Laois Offaly. Again, you're into those sort of Leinster teams who are probably, if you could throw a blanket over all the Leinster teams outside of Dublin, and to be honest with you, Meath or Kildare on their day could possibly beat someone, but the majority of Leinster teams on any given day could beat each other any given day.
Carlow, Limerick, Carlow 14, Limerick 119.
Carlow had a great win the first day. I think I said it in the show 2 weeks ago. Carlow have a great record against Wicklow. They had a brilliant record against Wicklow. They drew with Wicklow in the National League. I think there was a bit of talk about it being a huge shock. It wasn't that much of a shock, but Limerick, I'll tell you this now, right? Limerick are a good side. Billy Lee, I know Billy Lee very well. Billy was obviously the manager there for a number of years. And I can tell you this now, and even the size and physicality of that Limerick team, they're a big side, and there's some fine footballers in Limerick. And I was actually chatting to him last year about this. He actually believes that maybe 4 or 5 of the Limerick hurlers would obviously be good enough to play county football as well. And hurling is obviously a major issue for them, from the point of view being that hurling is number 1 in Limerick. And you could possibly perceivably argue that maybe rugby is number 2 down around there, and it's a big rugby county, a big rugby province. And Limerick are obviously, I think personally, are doing very well, to obviously, now I know they're relegated this year, but Division 2 was probably a step too far, but Limerick will hold their own next year in Division 3. They're a fine side, and they might cause a little rumble or two in the Tailteann Cup. They may do.
Yeah, they could be the dark horse actually there. That's actually a decent point. Longford, Wicklow, Longford 317, Wicklow 29. That was a good clip in there by Longford. Wexford and Antrim.
I think is that have a win game. We'll make Wicklow a must-win game now against Limerick, but I can't see them beating Limerick. But just probably disappointing for Oisín. I think after promotion, I'm sure he's hoping for a run in the Tailteann.
Wexford 14, Antrim 2-15. Antrim are going all right, are they?
Antrim have 2 wins. They've played some good challenge games. I said this to you. They played Donegal and they played Dublin. Albeit it was Dublin's second string, but it's still a good challenge. So they obviously were going into the Tailteann Cup with thoughts of progressing and giving it a good go, and why not? And listen, I had this conversation actually with a gentleman last night. Like, Antrim have always historically had really talented footballers, real talented footballers, and they still have real talented footballers. And I know the likes of Matt Fitzpatrick's now playing for them. He's playing professional soccer, whatever, semi-professional soccer with Glenavon and stuff. But I remember down a number of years ago to play them. It must be 6 years ago, and looking at the matchups and just having a matchup nightmare, of so many really talented players. The Murrays, Paddy McBride, Fitzpatrick at the time, Matt Fitz at the time, even McGordy was still floating about, real raw talent, and some real big size as well. And Big Nakiba was playing at that time as well, but they've brought through a number of younger players. Obviously, McEntee's there this year. He'll be putting a big emphasis on the Tailteann Cup. Probably sees it as a realistic opportunity to get to Croke Park. I think what all these counties want, is a semi-final, because a semi-final guarantees you a game at Croke Park. Like, a lot of them down players, believe it or not, a lot of them down players in that squad probably played in Croke Park before for Down. A lot of them wouldn't have, and for them to get an opportunity to play in Croke Park will only bring them on as well.
It's annoying. Like, it's just where you're located in the country. Like, obviously, Leinster teams get that honour of going out in Croke Park. Like, I know we say Imlan Mulligan actually for Leitrim. I don't think he ever played in Croker. Like, do you know what I mean? So Leitrim, obviously, they lost to Fermanagh 2-7 to 119. Disappointing Leitrim. Obviously, Antrim bet them the last day. Is it probably a New York hangover? You know yourself with. Losing the game like that, squads, the confidence levels drop. It's hard to recover, and that seems to be the case here at Leitrim. Waterford, Meath get them a good clip in 317 to 114. Laois and Offaly drew 111 to 111, and then Down you gave Tip a good clipping as well, 218 to 6 points. It's look at. Yeah, you could have a decent point there, Steve, with Limerick being the dark horses here. You're saying that you're saying down. You're saying who for the Cavan, Fermanagh, and you're
Cavan,
saying Meath
Fermanagh, and
and
Meath, yeah.
Meath, and
Yeah.
possibly Limerick number might
Still
sneak
think
in.
Meath will be found out if they play if Meath play the likes of Down in a knockout, or Cavan or Fermanagh, teams that are organised, like, they'll be beaten, like,
Okay. Yeah, yeah.